Harper Ellison didn't flinch. I swear, I held my breath right there. Not when the red hat snapped forward. Not when the finger hit the soil. Not when 3 cops turned toward her like a jury. "You heard me," the woman barked. "Arrest her, trespassing. End of story." No one moved. Harper didn't speak. She shifted her weight, eyes steady, palms loose. A map flapped in the grass. A rusted can leaked something red. The camera on the pole blinked. She looked up, slight smirk. She wasn't cornered. She was collecting. She used to check foundations. Now she stood on one. Harper Ellison, 38, ex-building inspector, the kind that sees lies through drywall and hears the silence in a room louder than any shout. She didn't move much now, didn't have to, because every time she didn't respond, someone else said too much. The farm had been in her family since 1946. 12 acres, half arable, backed by 2 maples and a broken fence line nobody fixed because her grandfather said it made the deer feel welcome. She never fixed it either. After the divorce, she came back, not because she needed healing, because it was the only place left that hadn't been paved over by compromise. Her boots still clicked the same porch boards she used to race across barefoot. Same creak under step 4. Same barn smell. Oil, dirt, weathered pine. She kept the barn locked with a hook key rusted soft, wrapped in twine, clipped to her jacket pocket. That's what she touched now. Thumb brushed the metal. Grip tightened, then let go. Some people move back home to forget. Harper came back to remember. Her grandfather once told her, "Don't fight people, fight records, paper doesn't flinch." So that's what she did. Every email, every photo, every voicemail that started too polite and ended with a threat, filed, archived, backed up twice. She knew what this was. She'd seen it before. False authority wrapped in community talk. Curb appeal. Neighborhood standards. Shared values. Always the same game. Dress control up like caretaking. Hope no one reads the bylaws. But Harper read everything. She wasn't the loudest voice in Willow Run. She was the one you forgot was in the room, until she pushed a document across the table with all the right stamps. They thought she'd crumble. She was calculating load-bearing limits. They thought she was soft. She was structural. Harper kept the land, not for profit, for memory. And memory, she wouldn't let anyone rewrite that, not a single inch, not even the part where her shadow fell now. The truck didn't park. It claimed the driveway. The door slammed, boots crunched gravel, and the red hat showed up before the face did. She didn't knock, she declared. "President of the Community Aesthetic Committee," she said, as if it were carved in stone. No one asked who appointed her. No one ever did. In her hand, an envelope. Too crisp to be casual, too eager to be official. She waved it once, like a cop shows a badge, like she expected silence to follow. Harper didn't move. "We've received complaints," the woman said. She didn't say from who, didn't have to. People like her never do. She opened the envelope with flair, pulled out a printed letter, and a map. The map was in color, too clean, too detailed, marked with shaded zones and red outlines. One section stood out, Harper's land, labeled unapproved agricultural structure, underlined twice. Per HOA visual standards, this area is subject to corrective action. Her voice was flat, practiced, worn like armor. Harper took the paper, read nothing, glanced once, didn't ask a single question, then handed it back, like returning junk mail. The camera on the barn clicked. A breeze pushed the map at Cheryl's boots. Harper stared at the hat. Once. Then, never again. "We'd like to avoid escalation," the woman added, folding the letter. The smile said otherwise. She turned to go, stopped halfway, tapped the map with her finger. "You have until next week." Then she left, without waiting for agreement. Harper stood still, but inside, she'd already started the clock. 4 lies, 2 threats, 1 fake seal. She filed them all, right there, between the blink of an eye and the exhale no one heard. Maybe you've seen someone like that. Maybe it happened to your family's land. Maybe it was quieter, but no less wrong. People like Cheryl don't always yell. Sometimes they just hand you a piece of paper and expect you to disappear. If this story reminds you of something, leave a comment. I read all of them. And if you want to see how this ends, you know where to find the next move. She didn't protest. She planned. First, the pole, wooden, weather-worn, still strong. Her grandfather mounted the old camera there, back when people stole cattle, not land. Harper wiped the lens, plugged in the cable. A red light blinked, then held steady. She didn't call anyone. She just watched the first frame load. Next, the email. No subject line in caps, no accusation. Just one sentence. Attached is the 1991 county certified land ownership map for anyone who needs reference. She CC'd every resident. No name mentioned, no comment added. But the file, clean, stamped, no committee, no aesthetic overlay, just original boundaries, and her signature still visible, back when she signed as assistant inspector. She clicked send, closed the laptop, didn't wait for replies. Then came the board, buried under weeds, dirt, and 30 years of sun. She pulled it up like it still mattered. Experimental crop zone, registered with Montana State Agriculture, 1984. The paint had faded, but not the seal. She wiped the bottom corner with a garden glove, the one with the worn leather thumb, the one her grandfather always wore in spring. She didn't frame the board, didn't repaint, just leaned it back where it once stood. Let the dust speak for itself. At the next community meeting, she sat in the back. Didn't raise her voice, didn't raise her hand. Cheryl did all the talking, and Pete? He stood, looked at Cheryl's map, then glanced at Harper. A pause, a quiet nod. No one else saw it, but the camera did. Harper folded her hands, didn't move. They thought she was losing. She was just laying the floor, 1 inch at a time, with gloves, maps, and memory. She didn't warn anyone. She just started documenting. She didn't yell. She invited. The email went out at 6:04 p.m. No header in red, no exclamation points. I'd like to propose a community discussion regarding HOA scope and procedures for clarity and mutual understanding. 47 addresses CC'd. 1 printout taped to the post office door. A scanned copy of the state HOA charter attached. No mention of Cheryl, no accusations, just light. Cheryl replied at 6:19. You do not have authority to call community meetings. All caps, bold, defensive. But the tone cracked something. 3 neighbors hit reply all. I thought HOA was for everyone. Is there a list of who's in charge? Just curious, who elected the committee? The thread grew, polite, but uneasy. Pete responded next, short, dry, deadly. I work zoning with the city. Never saw this HOA registered, might have missed it, but I doubt it. No one replied to Cheryl after that. The meeting wasn't official, just 10 lawn chairs and a folding table in the park. Cheryl arrived first. Red blouse, binder, smile too tight. Harper came last. Plain shirt, 1 folder, and the same silence she wore last week. For 20 minutes, she said nothing. Let Cheryl explain the vision, the rules, the expectations. Then someone asked, "Do you have appointment papers from the county?" Cheryl blinked. Too fast, too loud. Appointment? I've run this place since day 1. The room shifted. 5 people stood. No one said goodbye. Pete looked down at the map Harper brought. Then at Harper. She turned the page, didn't look up. A young mom leaned in. Wait, was there ever a vote? Silence. Cheryl cleared her throat, changed the subject. Too late. One voice from the back, soft, steady. Pete again. Harper never said anything wrong. She just asked the right questions. No one disagreed. Harper left last, folded the map, tucked it into her folder like a receipt. She didn't win tonight. She just tipped the balance. 2 emails, 1 meeting, and see Cheryl called it a mandatory emergency session. Flyers, emails, a banner in red, preserve Willow Ridge, protect community integrity. She brought a microphone, a slideshow, and a warning. Non-attendance may result in legal follow-up. The room was full, not out of fear, out of curiosity. Pete sat third row, notepad open. 4 residents brought their own chairs. 1 woman live-streamed. 2 cops leaned on the back wall, silent. Cheryl began like a politician, voice rehearsed, chin high. She showed charts, blurry photos, out-of-context screenshots. Accused Harper of intentional disruption of HOA protocols. Then came the final slide, a diagram claiming unauthorized agricultural activity on protected land. She paused, waited for gasps. Instead, Harper raised a hand, calm. "Where's that document from?" Cheryl's smile cracked, just slightly. "From the HOA account, the one everyone's contributed to." For years, Harper stood, laid down a printed sheet, color-coded, clean. Per state law, all registered HOAs must file an EIN. This is the public database. Willow Ridge HOA doesn't exist. Silence. Pete raised his hand. "And the monthly transfer I've been making says it goes to C. Langdon Administrator. That's not a corporate account." The cops glanced at each other. One started writing. Harper didn't say another word. She opened her laptop. Clicked once. Clip 1. Cheryl yelling at a contractor to tear down Harper's fence. Clip 2. Cheryl shouting at a neighbor for not mowing to code. Clip 3. Cheryl accepting an envelope. Cash. Same contractor, same address under beautification order. No narration, no captions, just quiet. And then, reaction. 5 people stood. 2 walked out. Pete closed his notebook. 1 woman said aloud, "I signed that petition against Harper. Thought she was the problem. She's the only one playing by the rules." Cheryl froze, mouth open, no words. Harper wore denim, neutral, nothing special. She picked up a folded letter, placed it on the front table. "Copy sent to county and IRS, just to keep things transparent. 3 clips, 2 pages, 1 sentence. And Cheryl, now just a woman in a red blouse, standing in a room that no longer listened." Cheryl's credibility cracked. Cheryl was gone by morning, not handcuffed in front of cameras, just absent. The banner came down, the flyers disappeared. No one mentioned her name again. Harper didn't speak about it, didn't replay the footage, didn't check the views. She opened the gate, stepped into the field. Dust clung to her boots. The old wooden sign lay face down in the grass. She lifted it, wiped it once with her sleeve, hung it back on the post. Ellison Farm, since 1943. It tilted left. She let it be. The garden beds were overgrown, tomatoes crowding their cages, a rake leaning sideways against the porch. She picked it up, raked slow, steady, not to fix, just to feel the rows again. Inside the house, the calendar still hung above the sink. A red X over last Thursday. HOA meeting. Underneath, 1 small line in pencil. That's done. She didn't cross it out. She just left it. Pete passed by late afternoon. He didn't call her name, just tapped the brim of his cap, left a box of mulch on the step, walked away. The dog, the neighbor's mutt who used to bark at everything, sat on the porch, watched her a long while, then lay down. Quiet. No music, no parade, just wind. And Harper, standing at the edge of the field, holding the same gate she had once locked twice a day. She looked out, didn't smile, didn't cry, just watched the stillness settle. She didn't raise her voice. She raised the fence back. And this time, no one dared touch it. Not everyone fights to win. Some just guard what no one else remembers to protect. The season turned, not loudly, not fast, just steady. The tomatoes came in late that year, so she waited, watered, checked the soil, watched the sky like her grandfather did. The fence was still there, not taller, just no longer touched. No one mentioned Cheryl again, not out loud. Only the occasional glance toward the old mailbox that never got checked. Harper didn't change much. She still walked the rows at dusk, still tapped each post twice with her glove, like a habit passed down. The camera stayed up, not for fear, for record. Some truths deserve to be witnessed, even in silence. A neighbor left peaches on the porch, wrapped in paper. No note. She folded it once, then tossed it into the stove. The fire caught fast. Inside, the calendar stayed pinned. HOA meeting day, still marked. But someone had drawn a red line through it. Once, clean, no tear, no scribble. Just done. The dog barked once that morning, then stopped. She looked up from the soil, smiled, but didn't call. Some tensions don't return. They just leave, quietly, like fog lifting before anyone notices. The air smelled of cedar and old iron, the kind you can't fake, the kind that only comes when things settle. The right way. She brewed coffee, strong, no sugar, sat on the porch swing with the same mug from 17 years ago. The handle was chipped, she never fixed it. Justice sometimes isn't loud. It doesn't arrive in sirens or applause. Sometimes it's just a door that no longer slams. A silence that no longer stings. A morning that feels level. Her grandfather once said, "Never fight to win. Just don't let anyone change what you already know is right." She didn't write it down. She just lived it. There are things not worth shouting for, only worth guarding, long enough for them to speak on their own.